Okay, so our story starts in the central market of a small town called Kazi. There's like दोपहर का समय, like post lunch 2 p.m. kind of scenes. People are some क्या बोलते हैं उसको, some sellers are wrapping up their stalls. They are like done for the day. Some are setting up their new stalls for the evening market. There are few carriages around which like take passengers from this town to the bigger city of, I forgot the name of the city, of Vetayum, which is like the bigger,
Of what?
the big city of Vetayum.
Okay.
It's like it's not the capital or anything, but it's like a bigger city where there's like more money and more work and stuff like that. There's this one carriage which is being manned by a 50-year-ish old human, male human. He is calling out to people, carriage to Vetayum, 20 silver piece each, 6 hours travel, come join in, aisa sab. And there is another younger human male, maybe in his 30s or so, who is just like collecting money from the passengers who are boarding the carriage. Um, Amongst these boarders, there is this one female halfling who is arguing with the guy, as in she has a small child with her, a boy, 7 years old or so. The guy who is collecting the money is telling कि इसका भी पैसा लगेगा. He will be occupying one seat, so you will have to pay 20 silver piece for this child's seat as well. And she's arguing कि no, I mean, जिसको मैं गोदी पे लेके I'll just travel, he's just a kid. How can you even take this much for this young child? You can see she is kind of also nervous. She's also kind of looking behind her shoulder and she's in a hurry. She says, okay, fuck it, take this 20 piece. She gets on the carriage. After like a few minutes or so, another hooded figure approaches the carriage and asks if this is going to Vetayum, and the guy says yes, it's 20 silver piece per seat. This is like a hooded female figure. So Valina, how do you look, and what are you doing in this town, and why are you going to Vetayum?
Right. So Velina is a high elf warlock. She's wearing basically a dark greenish black hooded cloak and hood, whatever. She has let me see what are colors. She has like reddish sort of eyes, dark green hair. Kind of keeps to herself. Doesn't really like to show much of her skin, and yeah, average height like around 5, 6, 7, and around 128 years old ish, which is sort of just like a young adult for an elf.
All right.
And yeah.
All right, fair. So yeah, Valina boards the carriage to Vetayum. Behind her follows like a very hefty half orc, kind of a very well built half orc guy, who again comes in, and he doesn't even ask how much is the cost, what's the price. He just says, okay, is this carriage going to Vetayum? The guy's like, yeah. The guy who's collecting the money is kind of thoda aisa, like takes a step back and is like, wait, is he coming to attack me or is he like a customer? So, Sambhaji, how are you looking today, and what does Sambhaji look like?
So it is Shumbaji,
Okay,
and
Sambhaji. Fair enough.
Shumbaji is a half orc. He's not like your usual half orcs. He's bigger than how usually what a half orc is. You could almost say he can pass off as an orc as well. He's got very sharp eyes which look like he's always looking out for danger or like always prepared for a fight. And he looks weary. He looks tense, but at the same time he's got this little, like the way he's dressed and the way he's a clean orc, which is a rarity amongst orcs. He keeps himself clean. He looks neat. His hair is well kept. It's braided nicely, and he's got these war paint on his face, which could possibly stem from either a tribal or a clan paint, or it could be something that could be related to his story and where he's coming from. We still don't know where he's going and why he's there.
All right. Nice. So yeah, Sumbaji just makes his way into the carriage. So this carriage can hold 8 people. Sumbaji, it looks as if he's going to like hold like have 2 seats or something. So as he's going into the carriage, the guy just kind of calls out from behind. You might be taking a few inches more, so I would have you to pay a bit extra. How do you respond?
Shumaji looks at him, stares at him, and almost in sort of a growl slash grunt, says, "Ask me again and see if you keep your tongue."
Okay. Yeah, he hears that. You can see on his face that he was just making an attempt to just get a few more silver pieces if possible, but seems like that's not possible. He just like, okay, you're not okay. No worries. Make yourself comfortable in the carriage. As he's turning around, a young, dark-skinned drow approaches the carriage. Fulik Ferelton, how are you doing this afternoon?
So, Fulik is a drow elf. He is basically at town myth to just explore. He's someone who likes exploring quite a bit. And he was in the town with his wolf, whose name is Spike. And yeah, like they are just visiting the new place again in search of riches and adventures.
All right. Yeah. So you board the carriage behind Sumbhaji as well. Um, After that, there is a short bearded rock gnome approaches the carriage. Uh, Bhupendra Jogi, how are you doing this evening?
Well, hello. I am Bhupendra Jogi. Must have heard my name, maybe perhaps. I'm a rock. I'm a rock gnome. I went to a wizard school when I was young. I am 308 years old, and I will have you know that please. I get very angry when people make fun of my height. I'm only 3 feet tall, so I am very tiny, but these hands can do a lot of magic in them. And I'm seen wearing this beautiful green, majestic sort of a robe, as a noble wizard might perhaps be wearing. It looks like something I've saved for a special occasion, not something that I wear every day, but I'm wearing this flawless silk green robe, and yeah, I seem to have a few things with me, a little bag with things, and I seem like I'm heading out on a mission.
All right, nice. So yeah, you pay the 20 silver piece as well, and the young guy who was there, he's just like, all right, little sir, just get on in the carriage.
Hey, what did you just say? Did you just call me a little sir?
I mean, I'm just saying what I see. You are little, aren't you?
Hmm.
Hey,
Well,
I
young
don't I
man,
don't mean
you
no
are
trouble.
just a few inches taller than me, so please.
That's fair. That's fair. He bows in what seems like a fake apology, but he does bow. And he takes a step back as you get inside the carriage. Behind, after a few minutes, seems to be another huge person, a firbolg, who is not really a native of this area. There's not many firbolgs that have been seen around in this continent per se. He approaches and Riot, how are you doing this afternoon?
Yeah, I am Riot Docti Omite, and I am wandering the whole region away from my home forest called Fae, and I was abandoned from my forest, but exiled in fact. But I am now trying to make my ends meet. As you can see, my skin has gone a little grey, mostly because the magical effect of my forest Fae has gone away. Um, I am about 7'2", and Yeah, well, you can see I have some very rugged clothes. Just going by, I don't really care about my appearances as much, and I have no hair. All my hair. You'll see a little hair on the back of my scalp, but that's just some remaining hair that'll go away because I'm away from my magical forest.
All right. Yeah. So as you guys board inside the carriage, it's an 8-seater carriage. So along with you five, there is the halfling lady and her child, who is not occupying a seat as she had said. He's a 7-year-old child, so he's just kind of sitting on her lap or just standing near her for the time being. It's pretty comfortable out there, and the person who was shouting, the older guy, for passengers, he gives a shout to the young guy who was collecting money. Uh, he says, "Well, Lokash, are we done with the capacity of the carriage?" He says, "Well, there are still there's still one seat left, but I think if it's getting late, it's a 6-hour journey. We need to reach there before nightfall. Maybe we can just leave right now, Dad." So he's like, "All right, one seat less is fine. It's anyways the end of the month. I think we've covered for everything." He rounds up the horses. He attaches the horses to the carriage, and he sits in. So the guy who is the father, whose name is Raku, he's sitting at the front of the carriage in the open, like manning the horses, and next to him is his son Lokash. They both sit and they just kind of glance into the carriage. There's like a small window from where they can just talk to the passengers and tell, "All right, we will be leaving right now. Hope you guys are comfortable." And as he just hits the horses with those ropes that riders do, the carriage starts moving. You hear from behind someone just giving out a call. "Hold up! Is this carriage going to Vetayum?" And the carriage, of course, stops, and you passengers see a young male elf running towards the carriage. He is in all black. Not really a hood, but it seems like the clothes are pretty oversized for him. But they do seem that those belong to him. Oversized in the sense he was bigger when he used to wear those clothes, but now he's lost weight now that he's wearing these clothes. The father, who is Raku, he just turns around and is like, "Yeah, you're lucky. We just have one seat left for Vetayum. Hop on the carriage." And he's like, "All right, I'll pay you on the way. Let's just leave." He gets in, adjusts with you guys. Now it's like pretty cramped in there because you have Sumbhaji and Riot, who are like kind of big people sitting there. So yeah, you make the journey to Vetayum. You leave the village, the town of Kazi, and you are now entering into the forest. As you guys are entering, you see that the lady who was there, the halfling, is still like pretty nervous. She's still like looking around. There's not much civilization around as well, but still she's as if just a bit on the edge, as if someone is following her. I don't know, but something like that. You're not sure exactly what is bothering her. And the other male elf who had joined in later, he isn't nervous per se, but he is more what's the word, like बहुत शांत बैठा है वो. He's really not really looking at anyone as well. He's just deep in thought or something like that. So yeah, you guys are making this journey. Is there anything you'd like to do during this journey, or maybe just
So I would ask the young man, the young male guy who boarded Akhri mein. I would just ask him what's his name and what he's doing, and just trying to initiate conversation with that young male, trying to find out what's up with him.
Yeah, he
Not anyone else.
looks at you. He's surprised to just see that someone is like talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, my name is Trivan, and I'm just making my way to Fetayum. Nothing specific, just some work." And just kind of goes quiet, starts staring at the bottom of the carriage.
So Felix Wolf suddenly notices the woman and the child. The woman being a bit tense and whatever you just told me. And then Fuzik notices the person wondering what's up with her.
So like, do you ask her or do you like initiate conversation?
Nah, he doesn't initiate
You're
a
just thinking
conversation
internally.
since. Yeah.
All right. Got it. So yeah, the carriage is moving downwards. There's not much happening. It's a pretty quiet carriage. You guys are just being by yourselves or something like that. And by the time you hear just Raku outside, just like talk to Lokesh. Well, this is like a pretty quiet carriage we've had. Usually people are discussing about what they're gonna do in Vitayum and things like that. But and then Lukash just says, well, you know how it is, father. It's to each its own. We shouldn't really care about these things. And he's like, yeah, it's fine. You just hear these mumble talks. They're just having general chatting, and this is just what you hear. The journey continues. It's like roughly getting towards evening right now. It's getting darker in the forest. And hold on, I did not change the thing. Fuck.
Maz, were you raising your hand?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Oh, go
who's
ahead. You
sitting
can just
next
stop
to
me by the way, beach mein.
Yeah. How's the sitting arrangement looking like?
Okay, so first in the extreme, like if you were to keep both the left and right things, right, like planks on which you're gonna sit, the seats left and right. So on the left, the most inside seat is where Valina is sitting. Next to her is Sumbaji. Opposite Valina is Fulik. Next to Fulik is Bhupendra. And next to Bhupendra is the halfling. And opposite halfling is Riot and Trivan. If you guys want, I can just draw and show it to you.
Yeah, like who's sitting next to me?
Next to you is
Sumbaji.
Sumbaji.
And who's sitting next to me?
I am
Next to
sitting
you
next to
is,
you.
yes, Bhupendra.
And
You guys
Furyk is
not
opposite
listening?
of me, right?
Yes.
He just said who's sitting.
So what are you thinking?
Okay. So Fulik tries to get the attention of the kid who was sitting with the woman. He waves his hand, smiles, and nods a little, like in a friendly way to strike up a conversation with her.
Yeah.
With her and the kid.
Yeah, the kid just smiles and he looks at you and he sees that you have these weapons and stuff packed with you. He also looks at everyone else and you can see he's visibly excited to see all these heroes, so to speak, in his words, around him. And he, as you wave towards him, he just looks at his mom and just smiles and points towards you, Fulik, as if I want to go and just maybe touch the weapons that he has or touch the sword or something like that. And his mom just like grabs him close. She looks at Fulik in a very not scared but just like a doubtful manner, and she just like pulls him close and just mumbles something to him, which is not audible. It's in a very motherly, protective way.
Okay.
I butt in and tell the child, you can touch mine, I won't bite. Just pointing towards my bag and my just general things that I'm carrying.
Yeah. His mother just looks at you and just says, no, thank you. He's been taught well by his mother to not speak to strangers.
At the same time,
I
my
chuckle
wolf.
loudly.
Okay.
At the same time, my wolf Spike starts sniffing at Bhupendra like in a curious way, but he is wagging his tail while doing it.
Okay.
Oh, is this a good boy? What's his name, or is it a her or anything else? Like, what's
His
up?
name is Spike.
Spike?
Felix says. Yep. Yes, sir.
Now, what about you, Spike's owner?
I'm called Fulik.
Interesting.
He says in a
Did you
very
give birth to Spike?
no, I found him in one of my adventures when I was roaming around the towns. He was a little cub.
That seems like he's happy now with his
Yeah.
new master.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, he's pretty friendly for the most part. That's true.
Does he shake hands?
I
If I offer him a
mean, Fulik looks towards Spike, speaks something in his ears, and then he says, "Yeah, I mean, he's not gonna bite. I'm pretty sure about that."
then of course I'm gonna extend my arm towards Spike in order to, I mean, in sort of a handshake kind of thing, to see if Spike reciprocates.
Uh, Spike snips Bhupendra's hand, and then he puts his paw forward.
Nice.
Oh,
Also, just
He-
I
he-
guess
he
just to
goes-
clarify, I think Bhupendra is smaller than Spike.
Probably.
He's like visually looking.
Well, it's a wolf, it's not a dog, right?
Spike growls a little bit when Bhupendra does the little.
Looking
While
at
this
this,
is happening, I'm also like petting Spike. Like I just like put my hand over Bhupendra towards Spike, and I just pet him very slowly.
Shumbaji looks at all of this happening, lets out a slight chuckle, and says, "Careful, Bhupendra. He might think you're a chew toy."
Hey, please, please. I know I'm only 3 foot tall, but please, I'm not. I'm no animal.
Yeah, you'll be chew toy here, not the animal.
Yeah, but please, respect. Respect. You give respect. You take respect. Is what.
Also, while all
Bhupendra
of this
probably
is
said.
happening, Valina, she's just like sitting on her corner. Like for a few seconds, she was just staring at Sambhaji. But then when this whole dog interaction happened, she was just like, she didn't care. She didn't bother. She was just looking down.
All right. So as the carriage is going on and all the talks are happening inside, it's starting to get dark. Rain has also started like drizzling down in the forest a bit. But the clouds ahead seem very dark. Like they're much more grayer than just like a drizzling rain kind of a situation. That's when Raku from the front just kind of shouts for the carriage behind that we might be experiencing a bit of rain on our journey, but nothing to worry. I hope we'll be reaching before the rain even gets heavy. So that's not a problem at all. Another hour or so passes as the carriage makes its way through the forest, and suddenly the darkness rises. It's pitch black. It's almost like 6 p.m. or so, but it's still very dark. And the rain has started pouring down, and it seems as if it's going to be like a very stormy evening kind of a thing. That is when you hear Lokesh and Raku just kind of discussing outside, and they have to scream because it's like raining very heavily, so you can hear the screams as well. You can hear Lokesh say to his father that we might have to make camp for tonight. It's not possible that the horses will be able to trample through all this mud, and we are not even able to see the path ahead. It's pitch black. The moonlight is also not penetrating through the trees, so we'll have to make camp. And Raku says, in my 30 years of carriage driving, I have never stopped a journey because of some rain. We will be going ahead. This is what you roughly hear. The carriage keeps on moving, it doesn't stop. After a point, like the carriage kind of slows down a bit and it comes to a halt. And so there are windows on the carriage, but those are not like complete transparent windows. They are like they have glass, but it's like those translucent glass where you can just see people outside and stuff like that. So as the carriage comes to a stop, you can see Raku is talking to someone who is standing on the road or something. You can hear some mumbled discussion happening, and then you just hear like a grunt from Raku, and he just kind of knocks on the carriage and says, well, folks, I think we might have to adjust. There's one more person who needs to reach Vatayum tonight, and I think this is going to be the only carriage that is going to pass through on this road. So it's up to you guys. If you guys think there is place for one more, we can help this fellow. Otherwise, it's up to you guys. And then through that short window through which Raku was talking, you see a middle-aged human male who is like not pretty well dressed, but is more decently dressed for a regular peasant. who is just standing there. He's drenched in the rain, just trying to like cover his head with his hand, both his hands. And he's just, whoever can see him, I think that is Valina, Sumbaji, and I think Fulik as well, if he just kind of does the effort. You see, like, he's making like this sad kind of expression that, if you could just please help me during this time.